Okay, hello everybody. So this is, we're recording this Zoom session just as a information session for iActivate cohort up in lovely North Queensland. So welcome along if you're watching the recording. Before I start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we live, work and learn. So in Townsville, I understand that's the Bindal and Wallaroo Cabba people, and in Brisbane it's the Turrbal and Yagara people, and the traditional name for Brisbane is Meanjin, which is where I'm joining you from. So I pay my respects to the First Nations people and their elders past, present and future. So before we get into iActivate, let me just give you a little bit of context about where it comes from. So my name's Steve Williams and I work at the Office of Social Innovation for CQUni, and we are Australia's only Ashoka U accredited university. We're proudly an international leader in social innovation, education and engagement in communities, and we're really heavily invested in supporting capacity building for social enterprise across regional Queensland. And this is really how iActivate came about, as a kind of culmination of all of those three things. So here at the office, we use this design thinking process really to help us work with communities when we're working with them to, uncover solutions to problems. And we're really placing people at the center of that solution focus work that we do with people using this thing called human-centered design. And iActivate really kind of mirrors that way of working. So it's really using design thinking to help you uncover ways to solve problems, but using an enterprising focus. This is one of my favorite ever slides, which is the Design Squiggle. So it really talks about how important it is for us to embrace ambiguity. And, nowhere is that truer when we're building a business, because often it can feel so difficult and so scary that we kind of have to embrace the unknown and really acknowledge that we don't know what the answer is. And if you sign up for iActivate, this is something that we really encourage you to do, is to embrace that ambiguity as you move through the course. So as I mentioned, my name's Steve, and my colleague Ashley Clark is the acting director. We, we have lots and lots of decades of experience really between us in social enterprise and design thinking and human-centered design and education. And I'm the course lead for iActivate, and Ashley, as the acting director for the office, supports me in that role. So I will be the point of contact for people if they join the cohort at the university, and we'll hear from Susan later at the Smart Precinct, because she'll be the point of contact there. But some people might be thinking, oh, well, actually, am I right for iActivate? What is a social enterprise and where does it sit? So this kind of confusing looking diagram is about the business, the spectrum that businesses sit across, all the way from, non-profits on the left-hand side of the screen, all the way up to for-profit businesses on the right-hand side of the screen. And people who come through iActivate and take the course generally sit within those three middle circles. They're either traditional social enterprises, or they're non-profits with income streams, or they're businesses with a social impact. Sometimes they are small businesses and they're just interested in working out how they can create some impact with their business models. But I hear you ask, well, what is social enterprise? Can you actually define it? Well, this is the simplest definition that we use here at the uni, and it's a business that operates for a social purpose. That social enterprises generally have these very common characteristics, that they have a economic, social, cultural or environmental mission. They trade to fulfill their mission, because if they don't trade, they're not a business, they're not an enterprise. They derive a substantial portion of their income from trade. So that is, they're not just receiving grants, and then they reinvest the majority of that profit or surplus into their mission. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be for a non-profit, and it doesn't mean that you don't earn profit. It just means that you're reinvesting your profits for public good or public benefit. Now, somebody's just joined and asked if they can access the recording at another time. Absolutely, you can. It's what we started recording from the beginning, so we'll make that available either via email or on the Smart Precinct social sites. Now, back to the social enterprise definition. So the Queensland Social Enterprise Council are the peak body for social enterprises, and these are some of the questions that they ask when they're assessing social enterprises, and you'll see they match with the previous slide about key characteristics. Do you trade? Do you fulfill a social, environmental or cultural purpose or mission? And how are profits treated by the enterprise? I'm not going to show this video because it's on the recording. I'm not sure if the sound will stay true. So what is iActivate? So I've just briefly spoken about, the Office of Social Innovation, how we work, what social enterprise is, and other types of social businesses. Well, how do they fit in with iActivate, and what would you learn if you joined iActivate? So it's as it says there, it is actually a dynamic platform. So it's online learning, but in the cohort model, it's backed up with face-to-face interaction through coaching sessions and through drop-in sessions at the Smart Precinct. So it's interactive, it's online, it's self-paced. It's self-paced in that you have access to it over your lifetime, but we aim to get it done within a period of 12 to 14 to 16 weeks for the cohort-based people, because we're really interested in helping people move through in a timely manner. Now, these are some of the modules that you'll be going through should you sign up. So you'll get to understand your purpose and your vision and impact. You'll work on business modeling. You'll really get to understand how to develop product and service prototypes and pilots. You'll understand about brand and marketing strategy, impact measurement, legals and financing projects, pitching and storytelling. And you'll receive expert guidance, which from leading social entrepreneurs embedded into the course, but also we'll be having guests joining us for the 12 weekly coaching sessions as well at the Smart Precinct, which you'll be invited to. So how did we come up with iActivate, and where does the content come from? Well, we partnered with Impact Boom, which is run by Tom Allen. And if you don't know of Impact Boom, I really suggest that you Google them. Tom's got an incredible podcast series with an array of leading lights of the social enterprise and social innovation world that he interviews, and you can gain lots and lots of insights from those people. He also runs a fabulous accelerator program called Elevate Plus. And these are just some of the businesses that have gone through Elevate Plus. There's many, many, many more that have gone through. And what we realized as a university was that we were going out to regions in Queensland specifically, and we were doing lots of social enterprise training, and we were putting on workshops face to face. Pre-COVID this was, and then we realized that, well, actually lots of people are asking us in the regions, okay, well, it's great that you've come to do some face-to-face work, but what happens when you leave? How can we get some more education? And there wasn't really anything online that people could access at a good price point with really high quality education. We knew that Impact Boom had already got this fantastic education piece, but it wasn't available online. So we did a partnership with Tom at Impact Boom. We've bought his content online. We've put it through the university's quality control. It now enables people to go through the program and receive a micro credential, a digital badge, as a result of being attached to the university in social enterprise. So that is actually unique in Australia, a unique offering, that it's a high quality social enterprise education platform online in partnership with the university that enables you to receive a digital badge or a micro credential at the end of your course. Now, one of the benefits to going through a cohort-based model, which is really what we're talking about here with the Smart Precinct, and again we'll hear from Susan just in a few minutes about the what's going to be happening at the Smart Precinct. One of the major benefits we feel is that you get to come together with like-minded people and really create a lovely community of practice. So the next 3 slides are from participants who went through cohort 1, and I've just highlighted some of the things that they've mentioned about the cohort. So Julie Johnson says the weekly sessions definitely helped me stay on track, hearing what other people are doing in the startup space, the tough things and the joys. It's really been the highlight of the project. So that's a great endorsement from Julie in terms of the benefit of coming together with other people. Ricky, he talks about that iActivate really taught us a lot. It allowed us to create and launch something new, build relationships with other like-minded businesses, leaders and change makers. Again, really highlighting the benefit of coming together as a cohort and not just doing it as an online course. And then lastly, Jazz says, she's been an entrepreneur for most of her life, so she's always been involved in building businesses, but really it was iActivate that, it came at a perfect time for her, but it really helped her think and narrow down onto her social impact and making her business work as a sustainable business. So that was really key for Jazz. So what happens if you decide to join the North Queensland cohort? Well, expressions of interest will open directly after this webinar. The course actually starts on the 28th of September. You'll get full access to iActivate online, which you can do at any time. There's 12 modules, which I briefly spoke about earlier, with 12 weekly group coaching sessions, again at the Smart Precincts. Now, incredibly, it's discounted by 50% thanks to generous sponsorship of the Smart Precinct, which means that you get that course for just $425, but the actual value is probably into its thousands, because you get that incredible you get the incredible coaching sessions, you get to meet weekly with your cohort, you get to build a community of practice, you get incredible exposure at the Smart Precinct, and in all likelihood you will be having stories written about your business and published in things like CQUniversity News and picked up in other media outlets as well. So that's enough talking from me. I'm going to hand over to Susan, and she's going to talk through the rest of the slides. She'll just have to give me the thumbs up when to when to move the slide on.
Thank you very much for that, Steve. And hello to everyone who's joined the webinar today. And we hopefully will see you around the Smart Precinct really soon. Again, I also acknowledge the traditional owners on the land in which we meet, the Wulgurukaba, and also the Bindal people and many of the other countries and communities that look after our region. Maybe we can flick on to the next slide, please. So the Smart Precinct is a not-for-profit organisation, and we really are all about fostering innovation and entrepreneurship, and it's innovation that was created by James Cook Uni, Townsville City Council, Charters Towers Regional Council, Hinchinbrook Shire Council and Palm Island Regional Council. If we flick on to the next one, and the focus is really on creating a vibrant ecosystem of high growth companies that are globally competitive and based in North Queensland. We have the Startup on Ramp program, when I understand some people that are wanting to participate in iActivate have also in the current cohort of Startup on Ramp, and we have had people doing those two, either one vice versa of the two, some go first in iActivate and then the other way around, but people pick up different things from both of those programs, and find both really beneficial in many different ways. And as you might be aware, you know, and as Steve mentioned earlier, often the network you create is really crucial as part of, you know, as that cohort, and you get out what you put in, and linking with the people and exploring all the ideas and discussions along the journey really help people get a big impact out of it. So the program, Steve has summarized perfectly there, and you can read about the modules there and talk with us more about those. And if you want to have some more information about it, you can check out on our website. As Steve mentioned, it starts in a few weeks and expressions close on the 10th of September. Flick us an email to get those details. And I'm also going to be making the space available in addition to the Tuesday lunchtime sessions for the iActivate program, where the program will be delivered. I'm also going to make the boardroom available once a week. Just lock that away for people to come in and to have those, you know, if you want to sit down and do the coursework with people, or to discuss in depth about the different ideas that are discussed, whether it's within people within the cohort, with your buddy partner, or whether it's other people from other cohorts like Startup on Ramp, or just people within our network generally. That's also going to be available this time round. I think we can go on to the next slide. Also part of the offering for the iActivate cohort this time round will be access to Smart Collective while the program's underway. So as part of Smart Collective, you get 5 hours per month to use our shared workspace, which will be separate to the boardroom bookings. Access to our monthly ecosystem meetup, which is First Wednesday Connect, and they talk about all different sorts of things. There'll be 4 mentoring sessions with our SPNQ mentors and growth consulting sessions at the end of the program, and there'll also be discounts on some programs and events as applicable. I think that may be nearly to the end for me. Steve, did you want to jump in and add anything else? Sorry, you're muted. We can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now? Yes, I was going to ask Julia if you had any questions, as you've got, you know, both myself and Susan here online now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Not really, because I've been part of the the Startup on Ramp program, and I went on that with the view that iActivate was the program that's probably most beneficial to me, because what I'm interested in starting up is a socially entrepreneurial business. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I am going to disrupt the way recruitment is applied across Australia. That is my end goal, with a very sizable proportion of profits going back into local community projects and not-for-profits. And I say local community. Sorry?
Sorry, I just lost you for a second, but you're back now. Yeah.
Am I back now?
Yes, you're back.
So
yeah.
A sizable proportion of the profits are to go back into community projects for the industries that they have, you know, I've recruited from, or to go back into not-for-profits. So a proportion will go back into the growth of the business as well. But I'm not, at this stage, I'm just trying to figure out how to build, I'm doing some cost analysis with an accountant as to how I can build the right building blocks to make sure everything works. But I recognise I don't understand the not-for-profit space, and I don't necessarily want it to be a not-for-profit. I just want it to be an organisation that really tips and disrupts recruitment, so that it's not just about that the businesses win, but more importantly, the communities that those businesses exist in benefit.
Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah.
I know, I'm so excited. I really want to get onto the iActivate program, so that's why I sent a message to Susan saying, make sure my name's down and let me do the subscription, and please make sure I get onto it.
Great. Yeah.
How many hours a week will it take?
So each module is kind of got a guide of 3 to 6 hours per week for each module, over 12 modules, and then there's the hour of coming to the Smart Precinct, or if you can't get in, watching the recording or zooming in. But you know, as with anything, any kind of online learning, some people take much longer to go through a module. You know, like some people might take 12 hours to go through a module, and other people might do it in 2. It's just, it depends how quick you are as you move through the modules. But not every, and the other thing is that there is a lot of content on the modules, but not everything is mandatory. So you don't have to like watch every video or listen to every podcast. It's, if it piques your interest and if that's something that you need to learn about, then sure, do every piece of content on there. But you don't have to do every piece of content. You don't have to complete everything. There is a quiz at the end of each module because it is accredited through the uni. It's accredited in the sense of a micro-credential. I think that there's 8 questions from memory. They're not very difficult either, you know, because they all relate exactly to the module. But for example, I don't know, say, you know, we've had people go through who are already kind of really au fait with marketing and branding, so they just kind of, you know, skim through that module, and then they really focus and narrow down onto you know, impact measurement, say, or, you know, business modeling.
So that's what I really need help with, so I'm really excited.
Business modeling.
Yeah, and the impact measurement and all that. So, I mean, the on-ramp has been fantastic because that's given me some building blocks. Yeah. But I'm definitely not there yet, and this has the potential to go national, global. So it is disruptive, and yeah, I just want to get it right before I press that start launch button. Yeah, so good. I'm aware that when I do, I'll get the big players come down. They'll descend. Probably. Yeah. Yeah. But, you know, I think it's a good time to change and a good time for people not to be greedy. So why not?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And Smart Precinct has been amazing. What an amazing organisation. Thank you. Yeah. Lydia's fantastic. Really fantastic.
Thank you. She is fantastic. Incredible.
Thank you. So I don't really have any more questions because I don't know what the course entails, other than the fact that I'm keen, I'm interested, and I'm ready, and I'm on board, and I look forward to meeting you in person. Oh, where are the courses? Are they at Smart Precinct or are they at the JCU?
The courses, the course time will be at Smart Precinct, and Steve will zoom in for the majority of the sessions. Okay. He's based in CQU in Brisbane, so he'll zoom in for a lot of the sessions, but sometimes we'll have a guest speaker either in via Zoom or sometimes perhaps even in the room, but we will have the space booked for the Tuesday sessions at lunchtime, and then also again probably on the Friday if people want to make that's an option, but just so that if people want to come in to do their work, or whether they want to have meetings to discuss things, then that will be an option for them too.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, that's me done.
Right. Okay, well, we'll probably wrap it up there then, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks both.